Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Lenny Sharp, the marketing consultant and publicist of the Mulberry Books. This is the last day of the Manila International Online Book Fair, made possible by www.manilabookfair.com, where the Mulberry Books is one of its exhibitors. And this is our last event also at the book fair, wherein we are featuring to you the book launch of one of our authors, Matthew Rucker, and his third book, A Field of Memories. Welcome once again, and we hope that you're having a great time enjoying the book fair and enjoying also our e-store, that's the Mulberry Books. Okay? By the way, just before we move on with our event today, we would like to keep you informed of the following announcements of what's been happening at our e-store through manilabookfair.com. We're giving away 30% off on all our books, which is inclusive or included already to that is our shipment cost. So better check us out. That's the Mulberry Books when you click on the exhibitors page. Okay, don't miss to visit us. At this part, before we feature to you the man of the hour, our author for this event, we would like to call in the managing director of the Mulberry Books, Anne De La Cruz, for her welcome message.
Hi all, welcome to the Mulberry Books launching for Matthew Rucker's third book, A Field of Memories. This is a collection of short stories that we all can truly relate. It's truly a good read and worth every penny. So I'm inviting you guys out there to check this out. Visit us at themulberrybooks.com or visit us directly at Manila International Book Fair so you can get a chance to grab free copies of Matthew's all three titles, from The Life Stories of Peepaws, Walking My Road of Grief, which is truly the bestseller, and this third one, A Field of Memories. And we would like to send our congratulations also to Matthew Rucker. Congratulations to you there, Matthew, for your third book. And it's been truly an honor to for you to entrust us all three titles of your books with us, the Mulberry Books. And again, thank you from the bottom of our heart. And you guys out there, check us out. And don't forget to grab a copy of Matthew Rucker's books. So again, it's themulberrybooks.com, or you can visit us directly at Manila International Book Fair. Help us, or rather for authors out there and aspiring authors, feel free to reach us out so we can help you build your books and create your stories. Again, from the Mulberry Books, I welcome you all for this book launching of Matthew Rucker's A Field of Memories.
Thank you, Anne. Anne has been instrumental in making Matthew Rucker one of the many authors that Mulberry Books has published. At this point, I'm excited to be giving out free books that are authored by Matthew Rucker, our guest author for this event. Just before we interview him, we're giving away 10 books from Matthew Rucker. So are you ready? All you have to do is just any of the first 10, okay, any of the first 10 participants who can give me the complete answers to these questions, okay? Name our guest author for this event and the title of his book that we're launching at this hour. Again, I would need 10 winners for this portion, wherein you will give me the right answers for these two questions. Name the author that we're launching this event and the title of his book. Again, name the author and the book that we are launching at this event. The first 10 participants who will give me the answers, the right answers of those questions, automatically win a book authored by Matthew Rucker. All right. On that note, let me have this opportunity to introduce to you our guest author for this event. Reverend Matthew Rucker has an engineering degree from Georgia Tech and a business degree from the University of South Carolina. He has a Master of Divinity from Asbury Theological Seminary. He took a one-year sabbatical to become certified as a hospital chaplain. He retired from the South Carolina Methodist Conference as a minister after 40 years of service. He now lives in Sandy Run, South Carolina with his wife, Angela, and pug dog, Teddy. He attends his home church, Beulah Methodist, and raises cows. He is where he loves to be, back on the farm. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's our guest author for the hour, Matthew Rucker.
Good day to all of you online viewers out there. I'd like to thank you for joining our book fair. It's Manila.com.
ManilaBookFair.com.
All right, thank you. Thank you for helping me. And we invite you to share with us a little, stay with us, and let me share some things with you about my writing career and about Mulberry Books.
That's right.
So I look forward to just sharing with you.
Yes. Thank you again, Matthew Rucker, for joining us. I know it's nighttime there at your place in South Carolina. I'm just so glad that we finally get to feature you on this special occasion where in the next couple of, this is the last day, by the way, of the book fair. It started November 24, today's November 30. But then we always say we save the best for last. So we thank you for joining us, and we might as well go right in and be asking a couple of questions. There's a lot of questions that we would like to ask you. First up, how does it feel to officially launch another book, your third title with the Mulberry Books, A Field of Memories?
It's a sense of relief. You work on one for so long, and then you finally hold it in your hand and you see it. It's a great sense of relief that I finished this, that I did this. And I don't like writing. I never have, and since I lost my leg, I got to do something to fill time.
Yes.
And so that was the incentive, you know, along with my wife and daughter pushing me to write these stories. So that's how it came about. But the main thing is just a sense of relief. And I liken it to a kidney stone. It hurts,
Oh, wow.
but once you pass it, it feels so good.
Oh, okay. So how long did it take you to write the book?
This book was probably 9 months, 10 months.
Wow, in the making.
When I write maybe a story a night. I don't write one every night. I wrote 2 stories tonight, and for the next book, but it's just slow. I can't just sit down and just reel one off. It comes slow, and I have to think about it.
Yes.
So it's about 9 months.
And then how different is this book from your 2 other books? Tell us more about the third book, A Field of Memories.
The Field of Memories is like a continuation of the Peepaw book, the first book. I wrote it for my granddaughter so that she'd learn a little bit about me, my love of God, my love of people, and that I was a bit of a rascal. And I wanted her to have something that she could pick up later on in life and say, this is my grandpa, my peepaw. And so that was the incentive for peepaw. The grief book was written about the suicide of my son and my walk of grief concerning that. Again, the Field of Memories is basically a continuation of Peepaw, the short stories, and just walking through part of my life. And they're all true. All the stories are true.
And then who do you think should be reading it? I know you have a massive follower of readers with your 2 books. What's the difference between, this particular book? Why should they be reading it?
The first book gives you morals. I try to give a moral to each story, the life stories of Peepaw, to my granddaughter. The second book is sort of a help to anyone that's going through grief. A lot of people use it as grief therapy. They get together in a class and they study the book. The last book is basically more stories, and they're funny stories, but they're also sad stories. You got to give a broad view of what's going on in life. So each one is the first one is different from the second one, and the second one is different from the third one. But the first one is very much like the third one. The first one is. So, and the fourth book will be more stories, but I've taken your idea of using like a sermonette.
Yes.
Taking my sermon, breaking it down into kind of a little short story, and I do 5 regular stories, then I do the sermonette, and that's the way I'm rolling through on that one. So that's where we are.
Tell us what gave you the whole idea to be writing short stories with life lessons. How did it all start for you?
My wife and daughter kept on, and then church members would say, you need to write a book. And that's the last thing I wanted to do because I hated writing. And I put it off. And they kept on aggravating me. And, we want you to do this, want you to do that. And then I think my wife told me, said, you need to do it for Alyssa. Well, that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so I went into it with that idea that this is my gift for my granddaughter. And they're just true stories about my life.
Yes. And with this, when you started publishing 2 of your books, what were the feedback that you got from your readers that in a way encouraged you to be writing more? Because it's different when your family are the ones encouraging you. How different that is with your readers, themselves giving you feedback.
It's humbling. I know the book, I can share a story. The Peepaw book, we had to go buy some green beans from my brother-in-law from a truck farm. And we went down there, and his wife is suffering from pancreatic cancer. And Angela gave him a book. And he said, well, I'll read it once the crop season is over. So he took it home and he put it on his table by his chair. And he came back in that afternoon, and his wife was sitting in the chair laughing.
Yes.
And he hadn't heard her laugh in 2 years.
Aww.
And he said, she was laughing, and he said, I asked her, I said, what are you laughing about?
Yes.
She said, you got to read this book. She said, I'm going to take it with me when I go for chemo on Monday, and I want them to see it too.
Yeah.
It's little things like that
Yes.
you never envision. And the grief book has had all kind of notes from people. Um, it gives you something to laugh about
Yes.
and just to stop the hustle bustle of life
Yes.
and just stop and, in a sense, smell the roses.
Yes.
Or in this sense, read the book.
Yes. Pretty rewarding, I would say. And I could see that when we're looking at your Facebook on how they actually engage and made comments as well whenever we post something.
Yeah.
Even on your blogs that are available, by the way, in his websites that's www.revmatthewrucker.com. I just have to say that.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
And I enjoy reading the comments.
Yes.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, aside from writing, how do you fill in your time? Tell us what keeps you busy at the same time, aside from writing.
Well, I lost a leg below the knee, and I just went through a total knee replacement in the other leg. So my activities are pretty well limited.
Yes.
In my spare time, I take a nap.
Yes.
I've learned to take a nap after lunch. I pick up pecans or pecans, as some people say, you know. In fact, that's what I did this afternoon. I went out there and picked up. And I also enjoy going out with my wife to feed the cows.
Yes.
And I have a little kid that comes over and helps me.
Aww.
And I can sit in the golf cart and I can tell him what to do with the fence or what to do. And it's helpful, but it's very frustrating when you know how to do something
Yes.
and you can't do it.
Yes.
So I'd encourage everybody out there, if you're going to do something, do it now.
Aww.
Don't wait. Don't wait. Because you never know the curve that life will throw at you.
Yes.
I always thought my legs were the strongest thing about me. And they've turned out to be, you know, the two things that are the weakest. So you never know. You never know. But there's a story in that. I want to do something on phantom pain. I used to laugh at my aunt who used to talk about how her leg hurt and she didn't have a leg. And I thought that was the craziest thing in the world. Because how can your foot hurt when you don't have a foot?
Yes.
But now I know. Now I know, you know, and phantom pain is tough. It is really tough.
But it's also inspiring to be talking to you and your advice, that is, of also for people to be doing the most of what they have in their time. And you also sharing your giftings in the area of storytelling, not just stories, but these are stories with life lessons. Now, Matthew, this is your third book. And I always ask this to any authors that I get to talk to. Is there a particular book among the three that is like your favorite?
I liked the first book because it was written to Alyssa.
Yes.
The second book was the hardest thing I've ever written.
Yes.
I had to relive the whole suicide and everything of my son. But yet I've probably gotten the most response out of that book. The last book was just a fun book. You know, just collecting the stories and putting them together.
Yes.
And I got the greatest compliment in the world from the first book.
Yes.
When my granddaughter, who's 15 now,
Yes.
when she told me, she said, when she saw her picture in the Peepaw one of us walking down the road, she told me, she said, "Peepaw, I'm famous." And I said, what greater compliment could I get, you know? But she's thrilled by it. But I would guess the first.
Yes.
And the third would be second because it's just like the first.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like it.
Oh, I think I have two other last questions.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions for someone who wants to become a writer? Any advice for that person?
Learn to be expressive in your writing. You know, you can say, there's a dog. Or you can say, there's a black and white dog.
Yes.
That's hot. He's panting. You know, it's how you phrase things. You know, you don't want to be bland and just
Yes.
blah.
Correct.
You know, you want
Yes.
you want to be able to, when you read something, you can feel it
Yes.
and you can see it in your mind. And I think when I write, I always try to write where the reader can put themselves in that same situation and say, yeah, I can see that happening to me.
Yes.
And, you know, is write it, but don't be too wordy. You know, get to your point. It's kind of like a sermon.
Yes.
Preach 20 minutes and then shut up. Don't go back to another illustration. Don't relive it. Let it go.
Yes.
And the same is true with a story. It's your story. Make it your story. You know, anybody can write about somebody else's story,
Yes.
but it's your story. And everybody has stories. And everybody, you know, your family members would be appreciative if you wrote some of the stories down. Now, I can't write some stories down because they're a little bit that I've been involved in with members, things that they've done. But I've got just volumes of stories
Yes.
that people have given me. But you got to make that story your story.
Yes.
And you got to tell it in such a way that you let the reader know, how did it affect me?
Correct.
How did it affect me? And so just be genuine, be real. Don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself.
On that note, Matthew, what do you think makes a good story?
It's true. It's vivid, that you can see the story.
Yes.
You can relate to the story.
Yes.
You know, I read you my story, and you say to yourself, well, I can see that happening to me. And keep it short. Most men don't like long,
Yes.
they don't read novels.
Yes.
But I've had the greatest compliment from men who have told me they're 60, 70 years old, and they'll say, this is the first book that I've ever read from cover to cover. And you think to yourself, you've been here that long and you never read a book? You know, but they like the short stories because they can read just so much, then
Yes.
quit.
Yes.
Then pick it up the next night, read some more.
I like that kind of book too. I like your books.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
my
you.
husband and I, we would read it, and then at the end of it, we'll always have a good crackle of a laugh. So,
Yeah, I get into some interesting situations.
yes,
You know, so
you bet. And you said it. You have your stories would bring people to where you're at, and the humor and the life lessons that come along with it are just amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. Matthew, thank you so much for the time that you've given to us. Please invite our book lovers, our people that are joining us at the ManilaBookFair.com. And by the way, your books are down to 30% off. So this is only, yes, and today's the last day of the book fair. We've been announcing it online that they can get your 3 books at the good discount of 30% off, and today's the last day. Please tell them and invite them how they can also get in touch with you with your social media platforms.
Well, heck, with a deal like that, maybe I need to buy 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, buy one, go home, sit down, read it, and laugh. And there'll be the stories in there as well that'll make you cry.
Yes.
So you got to show both sides.
Yes.
But I've enjoyed being with you. It's good to see your face.
Yes.
And I hope that you continue to have success. And I've enjoyed being with Mulberry, and I enjoy, the website. You've done a tremendous job.
Awesome.
Really
Thank you. It's always a joy and a privilege to be working with you, Matthew.
Yeah, well,
and Angela, your beautiful, wonderful wife.
Yes, she is. Boy, I tell you.
Yes.
She's a hot little number.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. You've just heard the man of the hour, our author, who's launching his 3rd book, A Field of Memories, available here at the book fair. That's, again, today's the last day, and today's your treat, a special treat for you. You can buy it online through manilabookfair.com. Look for exhibitor The Mulberry Books, and that's down to 30% off. At this time, we would like to show you this book trailer of Matthew Rucker. Thanks for joining us. Bye, Matthew.
Thank you so much. Good seeing you. I grew up on a farm. We had chickens, which we used for eggs and meat. We had cows, which we used for milk and meat.
Storyteller and author Matthew Rucker invites you to stories and life lessons. Matthew Rucker grew up in a storytelling world and learned the art of storytelling.
My first dog was named Junior. He was a cross between a German Shepherd and a hound dog. He was my friend.
His stories inspire the heart. Connect loved ones. Relate with you in your joys and sorrows. A good story is a true story.
Alyssa, most of my life was and is dedicated to serving God, helping people, and to be the best person that I can be.
Experience stories and life lessons with Matthew Rucker.
And that's Matthew Rucker for you with his stories and life lessons. Do visit his website, that's revmatthewrucker.com, or like him on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, Matthew Rucker. Enjoy a whooping discount of 30% off on his 3 books, Life Stories of Peepaw, Walking My Road of Grief, and of course, his latest book, A Field of Memories. Friends, this is the last day of the Manila International Online Book Fair, made possible to you by manilabookfair.com. When you logged in, click on Exhibitors and look for the Mulberry Books. Just before we wrap up today's event, here are some few important announcements. This is the last day of the book fair, so you wouldn't want to miss to enjoy a 30% off on all our books, and that includes shipment costs. What a treat that is, right? So if you're thinking for your Christmas gifts for your friends, wherever they may be in any parts of the Philippines or even abroad, all you have to do is get our books at this special discounts only up to today. All right. And lastly, please visit our website. After the book fair, you can visit our website at mulberrybooks.com. And you can also like us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Pinterest, and even on YouTube. That's the Mulberry Books LLC, to know our updates and also our new releases. Friends, you've been a wonderful company. I thank you for joining us. My name's Lenny Sharp. Have a great time at the Manila International Online Book Fair.
Remember that day when you finished writing your book? That feeling of accomplishment, the excitement of having your work published. You wondered if there's someone out there who believes in your story. Someone who is committed, dedicated, and able to share it to many. The Mulberry Books aims to provide excellent, efficient publishing support, remarkable and creative marketing solutions. Our personal touch is unrivaled and unique, bringing out the fullest potential of both book and author. We value competence, creativity, and care. The Mulberry Books. Creating books, building stories.